Right, so I do think it's time for a literature with Lez.
Are you in for us?
What's this feature? Let's explain what this feature is. What is this feature?
Well, this feature is basically... Sorry, my voice has changed. How bizarre. I have basically sought out some of the most finest literary classics of all time, and purely for yours and everybody's entertainment, I'm going to read an excerpt from some of them.
Right.
If you don't mind.
So here it is.
So here it is.
Literature with Les.
Literature with Les.
Literature with Les.
Today's classic is written by Barney Samuels and is titled... Everybody's heard this one. We're going to start off with something everybody knows. I used Marks and Spencer's vine tomatoes as anal beads, and now I'm shitting ketchup. Let's get into it. A misguided sex fan who tried to use vine tomatoes as anal beads ended up with egg on his face and pulped tomatoes in his rectum. After mislaying his regular anal beads, Alan Forsyth fished a string of posh Marks and Spencer's vine tomatoes from the fridge at his home in Hoxton, East London. He said, I assumed that small vine tomatoes would be able to retain their structural integrity on the way up, if you will, and the tomatoes would be firmly attached to the vine, so I could pull them back out again. We are talking about Marks and Spencer's quality, after all. But interior designer Alan, 43, who openly admits to being a homosexual, had overestimated the strength of the attachment between the vine and the tomatoes. The subheading to this next part is titled Climax. He said, as the moment of climax approached, I took a huge snort of poppers and pulled at the stalk of vine, expecting the toms to pop out, one after the other. But that did not happen. I was left clutching a bare stalk, and all the tomatoes were left up my bumhole. Over the next couple of days, they began to come apart and pass normally. Unfortunately, it's rather alarming. It was rather like shitting ketchup. A source at Marks and Spencer told the Sunday Sport, all of our products are of the highest quality and meet all agreed standards, but our vine tomatoes are not to be sold as sex toys.
You surprised me.
Who'd have thought? Alan's tomatoes up-arse predicament...
Up-arse predicament.
Up-arse predicament was the last thing that M&S needed.
Why is it the last thing they needed?
Because it's got such a valid case against them, obviously.
What? He sued them?
I'm saying, I think they were thinking that, he might have. Who knows? Who knows? He could have gone down that route.
Yeah, I mean... You hear about these things, don't you? People robbing people's houses like a...
By the way, can I say that story's 400 pages long, so if you want to read the rest of it and find out what happens, be my guest. I just thought we'd want to bore everyone, but...
400 pages?
400 pages.
Really?
Yeah.
That sounds legitimate.
Well, I'd say it's a literary classic.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
Literature with Les.
Literature?
Yeah, it is.
Hardcore.
Yeah, of course. You do hear about people walking over, like, conservatory roofs... falling through in an attempt to burgle that person's house and sue the person for an unsafe terrain or whatever you want to call it. And yeah, so I wouldn't be surprised if this tomato arse bandit decided to...
I think they're going to have to put disclaimers on all their products. Do not insert in rectums, is that what we told you? Until that happens, it's fair game.
Yeah. I've heard another one of a guy who... had to go to hospital with H.P. Brown sauce up his arse, the bottle, the glass bottle, and he claimed that he was climbing up his drain pipe. He'd been shopping, first of all. Don't forget that. The truth. Let's tell the truth now.
Of course, we're only dealing with facts here.
Yeah. He'd been shopping, left his bags at the bottom near his door, realised he was locked out, forgotten his keys, so he climbed up his own drain pipe, not his knob. His actual
Thanks
drain
for clarifying.
pipe.
Everyone was confused.
Not his, but climbing up your own drain pipe could be like having a wank, couldn't it?
True. I mean, I've never heard it described like that.
Well, I've made a new euphemism.
Right,
so
okay.
There you go. But no, he climbed up his drain pipe of his house and slipped, fell, and he fell onto his shopping bag, of which a brown sauce
with his bare ass.
Oh yeah, sorry, yeah. As he was climbing, his pants slipped down.
Right.
And his bare ass slipped and went straight down, landed conveniently on the HP sauce
Swallowed
bottle.
the entire thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the doctor released a statement saying, this story would be somewhat believable if HP sold their bottles with condoms attached.
Even the first bit is like, it'd be somewhat believable. There's fuck all believable about that. The doctor's just being nice whilst also being as unbelievably condescending as possible.
Yeah. I mean, we should definitely be contacting Marks and Spencer's after this.
I'm glad you said what I thought you were going to say is we definitely need to try this out to see if it works. I'm like, I'm good.
I'll pop them up yours and you pop them up mine.
I just don't really think it's worth it. It's going to be a new segment on this podcast.
Yeah, let's go for it. Yeah, we've talked about Percy Pigs. We've talked about vine tomatoes going up anuses. So, Marks and Spencer's, if you're listening, we are open to sponsorship deals.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and we will have sex with your products.
Yeah.
If you pay us.